Welcome to our first live session about financial reporting paper for December 2020 attempt. This is Arshad Bhutta. I warm welcome to all you guys. So let's start our discussion with my introduction. I am Arshad Bhutta, working as being a professional trainer for the last 12 years. I'm an educationist, trainer, mentor, coach, and freelancer. As I discussed earlier, that I am in a teaching profession for the last 12 years. It is my diversified experience that I have taught to the students of different nationalities. My areas of expertise are financial reporting, corporate reporting, management accounting, performance management, business analysis, financial management, corporate finance, and internal audit. In my journey of these 12 years, I have worked with some international organizations, as well as I have worked with some Pakistan-based organizations. Previously, I was working in Dubai as being a corporate trainer with one renowned institute. Over there, it was my privilege that I have taught and trained more than 40 nationalities students. From last session, I have joined WIFI for paper financial reporting. It's my second session, second batch with WIFI. It is my privilege that the last batch which I have taught in Dubai for paper financial reporting, at that time its code was financial F7 financial reporting. My result was 100% in this paper. And I hope that all the students, those have taught this subject for last session, for September session from me on this very prestigious platform of WIFI, inshallah they will pass their respective papers. Now let's start the discussion about what is financial reporting. Keep in mind that financial reporting is a language, as it is indicated here, that it is a language which communicates about company's financial position, company's operating performance, and flows of funds over an accounting period. Now, look, what is the objective of any language? Language is mode of communication between sender of information and receiver of information. So, financial reporting is supposed to accomplish the same objective, but this language communicates about three things: financial position, we will talk later on about this in detail, operating performance, and cash flows of the organization. To accomplish that objective, what we are using financial reporting standards. So as per ACCA, what is financial reporting standards? The overall objective of the IFRS is to require all entities falling within its scope to highlight a range of important components of financial performance to aid users in understanding the performance achieved by an entity in a period and to assist them in forming a basis for their assessment of future results and cash flows. So what is this? Financial reporting standards are rules which we are supposed to follow to accomplish that objective. What objective? To communicate about financial position, operating performance, and cash flows of the organization. To accomplish that objective, what mode, what rule, what method we are using, that is financial reporting standard. So different standards will guide you how to ultimately report these three things. Okay. Now, what is the importance of this paper? This is financial reporting paper. For this paper, we are getting previous knowledge from financial accounting paper. From where? From financial accounting paper. And the knowledge of this paper is directly helpful for further paper, which is strategic business reporting. So it means the assumed knowledge which we got from paper financial accounting will help us in financial reporting paper, and this paper will directly help and will give the skills those are required for further advanced paper, which is strategic business reporting. But for financial reporting paper, we are getting some knowledge of corporate and business laws. Let's assume about what is company introduction and about company's laws will give some help. So that's why I have drawn here dotted line. And financial reporting paper will help to some extent in paper audit and assurance, because financial reporting papers gives us the guidelines how to prepare financial statements, and audit and assurance paper gives us the rules and guidelines and methodologies how to audit those financial statements. So it means there is a very important relationship between audit and assurance paper and financial reporting paper. Financial reporting paper guides us how to prepare financial statements, and audit and assurance paper guides us how to audit those financial statements. Okay, then this paper, audit and assurance, will give you the detailed knowledge which is helpful for advanced audit and assurance paper. Okay, now strategic business reporting paper, again this is the advanced level, how to prepare the more complex financial statements. Strategic business reporting paper, its knowledge will also help in advanced audit and assurance paper. So it means there is a prime importance as being an associated chartered certified accountant, how to prepare the financial statement. So paper financial reporting have an integral part for your knowledge as well as for your practical work. So once you will enter in your practical field, you are supposed to prepare the financial statements of your respective organization. So this paper will guide you how to prepare financial statements. Okay, now let's discuss in detail the syllabus. The syllabus of financial reporting paper is the conceptual and regulatory framework for financial reporting. First of all, we will study about conceptual and regulatory framework for financial reporting. Then we will talk about some specific transactions. Then we will talk about for some specific transactions. Those are supposed to be incorporated in your financial statements. Specific transactions, accounting transactions. What are those transactions? First of all, tangible non-current assets. How to account for these tangible non-current assets in your financial statements, we will learn about this. Then intangible assets. Then impairment of assets. So these are the specific transactions. Those are supposed to be discussed in your financial reporting paper. Inventory and biological assets, then financial instruments, then leasing, then provisions and events after the reporting period. Then we have taxation related transactions, reporting financial performance, revenues, government grants, foreign currency transactions. So these are specific transactions. Now, we will talk about the relevant standards, which I will discuss what are the standards. Those are examinable in paper financial reporting. All the relevant standards, those will guide us how to record and how to account for these specific transactions in your paper financial reporting. Then there is a guideline how to prepare your financial statements. For that purpose, we have two types of financial statements. Single entity financial statements, how to prepare financial statement of one entity. This is important. And after that, how to prepare consolidated financial statements. Now, we will talk about later on what is consolidated financial statements. So we are supposed to, by applying those specific laws and knowledge which we will learn, how to record and account for tangible non-current assets, intangible assets, impairment of assets, and so on, all the things, we will ultimately able to prepare single entity financial statements and group financial statements, which is called consolidated financial statements. Then the fourth area of the syllabus is about analysis and interpretation of financial statements of single entities and groups. Here we are supposed to calculate different ratios. We will talk about what are the inherited limitations of financial statements, how to calculate those ratios, what is the relationship between different ratios, and how to interpret and explain those ratios, and what are the limitations of ratios techniques. And finally, we will talk about some not-for-profit organizations and public sector entities, how they are preparing their financial statements. So this is the whole syllabus. Now, one thing which is very important, what would be my teaching pedagogy for this syllabus? I will start with accounting for transactions in financial statements and regulatory and conceptual framework. These areas I will cover first, which is what I believe is 70% of the syllabus. Once you are capable enough to account for these transactions, those are mentioned here, you would be competent enough to prepare your single entity financial statements, which could be preparation of statement of profit and loss to gauge the financial performance, which could be preparation of statement of financial position, which could be statement of changes in equity, or which could be statement of cash flows. And over here, we are just supposed to understand the formats of a single entity financial statements if we are capable enough to record the transactions. Otherwise, the application of the knowledge would be about those areas. Then there are some additional rules related to consolidated financial statements. We will talk about them. And then once we have prepared the financial statements, then we will interpret those financial statements. So this is the whole syllabus for paper financial reporting. What are the examinable financial reporting standards? IS1 examinable in paper financial reporting, IS2 inventory examinable, IS7 statement of cash flow is examinable, IS8 accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors is available, IS10 events after the reporting period, that is examinable, IS12 examinable, IS16 PPE examinable, IS19 is not in the scope of for paper financial reporting, it is examinable in paper strategic business reporting, SBR. Then IS20 is examinable, 21 is examinable, 23 is examinable, 24 related party disclosures is not examinable in paper financial reporting. Then IS27 examinable, IS28 investments in associates and joint ventures examinable, IS32 financial instruments examinable, IS33 EPS examinable, IS34 interim financial reporting not examinable, IS36 impairment of assets examinable, 37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets examinable, 38 intangible assets examinable, IS40 investment property examinable, IS41 agriculture again examinable, IFRS 1 first time adoption of international financial reporting standard is not examinable, it is examinable in paper strategic business reporting. And then IFRS 2 share-based payment again at strategic business reporting, it's not in the jurisdiction of paper FR. IFRS 3 business combination is examinable in paper FR. Then IFRS 5 non-current assets held for sale examinable. IFRS 7 financial instruments disclosure examinable. IFRS 8 operating segments not examinable, it's examinable in paper strategic business reporting. IFRS 9 financial instruments examinable, IFRS 10 consolidated financial statements examinable, IFRS 11 joint ventures not examinable, IFRS 12 disclosure of interests in other entities not examinable. IFRS 13, fair value measurement, again examinable. IFRS 15, revenue from contracts with customers, examinable. IFRS 16, leases, examinable. IFRS for SMEs, not examinable. And conceptual framework for financial reporting, yes, it is examinable. So this is the whole syllabus which we are supposed to study in this paper. This section is very important, and I need the input of the students, how much they are competent. Like, once we are talking about financial reporting paper, we are assuming that the students have this knowledge from their previous studies. Some of the students will get exemption in paper financial accounting, but they have studied these basic things in their other respective courses. So assumed knowledge is that you are familiar about the basic structure of published company accounts, which is statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of financial position, and statement of cash flow. You have knowledge about these things. Then examinable standards for which you have knowledge in your paper financial accounting, IS2 inventory, then IS 16 PPE, then IS 38 intangible assets, then IS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets, and then IS 10 events after reporting period, and basic group accounting and basic ratios analysis. You have this knowledge. This is the assumption which you we are supposed to start our discussion, that you may have this specific knowledge. But in my recorded lectures, which would be available on Wi-Fi platform to you, I have tried for every standard, let's assume IS 16, to cover the basic things. That would be the quick recap of your previous studies. Like, you have learned in your paper financial accounting how to measure the cost of non-current asset, how to calculate the depreciation, how to record depreciation, how to dispose your asset. So even though you have basic knowledge about those things, but I have tried to cover even though the basic knowledge, which would be the quick recap of these areas. Then what would be the exam structure of your paper financial reporting? You have 3 sections exam. In section A, you have 15 objective test questions, and every question comprising 2 marks. It means 30 marks are from section A. Then again, you have section B, where you have 3 questions, and each question have 5 objective test questions, and every question have 2 marks. So it means your total marks for this section is again 30. It means 30 marks belongs to section A and 30 marks belongs to section B. It means this section is 60, having 60 marks weightage, you get 60 out of 60 marks. Then in third section, which is your structured response question, you have 2 questions of structured responses, and every question is having 20 marks. These questions could be for the preparation of single entity financial statements, either statement of financial position, either statement of profit and loss, either statement of comprehensive income, either statement of changes in equity, either statement of cash flows. And ratios analysis, it could be from ratios analysis, and it could be from consolidated financial statements. For consolidated financial statements, there are only 2 financial statements, those are examinable in paper financial reporting. That is statement of profit and loss and statement of financial position. Statement of cash flow is not examinable in papers for group companies, not examinable in paper financial reporting. That is examinable in your paper strategic business reporting. And for consolidated financial statements, you are also not expecting that you may have any foreign subsidiary or you have some foreign transaction. So your consolidated financial statements would be only in a single currency. So that is the area from where section C will be tested. But as I discussed earlier, to prepare your single entity financial statements, to prepare your consolidated financial statements, you are supposed to have a basic knowledge how to record those specific transactions. Like if you have a grip on international financial reporting standards, you are competent enough to prepare these financial statements. Okay, so that is what I'm always focusing and I'm always emphasizing with my students, that please, you must have a good command on international financial reporting standards. That is the area which is actually key to success for your exams. Now, the duration of this exam is 3 hours. It's a 3 hours exam and you have 100 marks paper. It means for every marks you have how many time? 1.8 minutes. Once you will complete this exam, what sort of the competence you may carry forward? You would be competent enough to understand and apply conceptual and regulatory framework. You would be competent enough to record different transactions according to the rules of international financial reporting standards. You must have to remember that there are other rules, like in USA, you have US GAAP. But as being a student of ACCA, you are supposed to prepare your financial statements as per the rules of IFRS. You would be competent enough to analyze and interpret financial statements, and you would be competent enough to prepare single entity financial statements and consolidated financial statements according to the guidelines of international financial reporting standards. Why students are getting failed in this exam? This is very key area. We must have to be aware at the start of our session what are the major reasons of the failure. I remember when I was a student, my one teacher was saying to me that if you got 49 marks, you got 0 marks. If you got 50 marks, you got 100 marks. So our core objective is to pass the exam. So it would be my desire, and I will try my level best, that all my students must have to pass their exam in their first attempt and they must have to get 50 marks. So that's why I'm discussing these reasons. So you would be capable enough at the end of session that you will not repeat these mistakes. Candidates do not understand question requirements. This is the one of the major problems, that students don't know what examiner is expecting from you in this question. Especially, most of the students are less focusing on objective test questions, sections, both section A and section B, which is the key area for your success because its weighting is 60 marks. So you must have to be vigilant during your exam and first of all understand what examiner requires from you. Sometimes students understand the requirements, but they don't answer what is required from them. Then this is the key issue, time management. As I discussed earlier, how many minutes we have available? 1.8 minutes for each mark. So if we have 2 marks question, we have 3.6 minutes for one OT. And how much time for section A OT is 54 minutes. We must have to complete that section in 54 minutes. Then again for section B, we have same 54 minutes. And for each scenario, we have how many minutes? 18 minutes. sections. For section C, we have 72 minutes, and for every descriptive question, every structured question, we have 36 minutes.